Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is BeBall Jones coming back with a mental moment for you guys. This week is going to be a little bit different. Actually going to be taking you more through a rant, kind of stealing Nelson's part of this. But just kind of want to talk to you guys about basically putting respect on NBA players and their names and their games. There are so many times that I'm in basketball talks in the gym or scrolling through social media, and I see people saying that certain players in the NBA suck and they're terrible. And that always bothers me, man, because it's very, very rare that a guy makes it to the NBA and they're not, like, great. And these are people who can't play basketball at all that are talking trash about the most elite players in the world at the game of basketball. And most of the times people are saying that and they're not really understanding the full scope of how talented and how great NBA players are. So there's two ways I want to kind of frame this for you. So as you level up through basketball, you're going to have the elite of the elite going to each level. So you look at middle school basketball. The players that usually make it to high school basketball and play on that level are usually the top tier of middle school basketball for the most part. You look at high school basketball. It's usually the top guys and the best guys from the high school teams that make it on any level of college basketball, most of the time. You look at college going pro, it's going to be the top guys from those college teams, more than likely, are going on to play at the pro level. So you're having the top tier of each level going on to play at the next level. So the NBA is full of the best college players in basketball, even the top foreign players. And you're thinking about people who have not made it in basketball, haven't made a middle school team, haven't made a high school team, yet they're saying these pro guys are bad, they're terrible, they suck. And that bothers me a lot, because if you really think about it, like Jared Dudley's, the Brian Scalabrine's, the guys who are the 13, 14, 15 man on the bench, they're not as sorry as you think them to be. Just because they're on the bench in the NBA doesn't mean they're not good at basketball. They're just quote-unquote sorry for that level of NBA basketball. Now, if you take those guys from the end of the bench and you put those guys back in the college round, or you put those guys back in average rec or, average gym across America, then they're the Kobe Bryant and LeBron James of that gym, because they're so skilled and they're such at a high level that average player was not keeping up with them. And I'm still this quote from Nelson. I was listening to from Nelson. He was like, if I throw you in the water, if I throw you in the deep end of the pool, you're going to learn to swim at some point or another. So what that kind of means is those guys that are at the end of the bench, they're literally seeing the best basketball every single day that you can possibly see. So it's like the guy at the end of the bench who is on the Lakers team, and he's riding the bench, but he's going up against LeBron James every single day, going against Anthony Davis every single day. The guy at the end of the bench for the Hawks is going against Trae Young. The guy at the end of the bench is going against Luka. They're going against the best of the best. Yeah, they may be drowning on one end of the aspect, but on the other end, you have to realize within those failures, they're seeing the best basketball day in and day out. They're going against the best of the best. So you're going against the top scorers. The guy who's going, like Quinn Cook, going against Steph Curry every single day in practice, he has no choice but to get better. You throw him in that pool, and he's have no choice but to get better and figure it out. And the fact that he's still in the league says a lot too. So it's like, yeah, you can say these guys are sorry, but they're sorry on the most elite scale that you can be sorry on. So I'd rather be the lower end of a 1% than sorry on any other level. I'd rather be NBA sorry than average sorry, like most people are talking about these guys. So I just want people to put more respect on this guy's name and this player's game. Because I remember seeing not too long ago, Brian Scalabrine got challenged by some college guy or some, average guy one day at the gym. He was like, bro, stop talking trash to me. Like, we're not on the same level. We're not in the same game. Stop it. Brian Scalabrine went on to beat this guy easily. I think it was going to 11. He won like 11-1 or 11 zip. And it's a very common thing. And sometimes I wish that, every summer you'll see more NBA guys. Like, you just get like a group of 3 or 4 guys from each team, just go around different courts and different gyms or different parks and just play 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 or just, king of the court ones and just go against people who want to sit there and talk trash about them and say they're sorry. Then you really get to see how skilled and how high level these guys are. Because like you see Steph Curry going through workouts and he's hitting 90 out of 100 threes or hitting 100 something shots in a row in the corner. And that's just the top of the top. You don't realize that the guys who we say can't shoot are also capable of doing that too, to some extent. No, they're not going to hit 100 threes in a row from the corner, but they're going to hit 30 something in a row. And that's something most players can't do, period. You got to think about the high level of competition you're seeing at the NBA level. You're seeing the elite of the elite go at it night in, night out. Like the things that James Harden are able to do, the things that so many skilled players at that level, Kyrie, are able to do, that's the top of the top of the top. We're talking about all-time greats, not just right now, but throughout the span of the history of the NBA. They are the best at doing what they do. So you think about going against that night in, night out, and I'm holding my own to some extent, or I'm limiting that. These guys have to have more respect on their names and how well they're able to perform. So that just kind of bothers me a lot when I hear people say that. So even if you hear certain people say that, knowing who they are and understanding that they know the game, I can put it in the context saying that they're just saying that they're sorry within the level of NBA expectations. So them as an NBA player on that level, those guys are not NBA caliber players. Yes, they might have made it there and they might have gotten that position, but they're not good enough to maintain it. Getting there, I don't say it's easy, but it's easier than maintaining it. So that's why any guy who makes it to the NBA, any guy that has an NBA roster spot, and especially a guy that is able to maintain that spot and keep it, he has all my respect because that's something that so many players aim for and strive to get, but so many missed out on just because sometimes it's not their fault, it's just because of expectations. Because of the situation that they dealt with in their circumstances that they have. But for the most part, a lot of guys just weren't good enough to make it to that level. So the guys that are able to make it there, whether it's luck, which pretty much every player has, or whether it's just their brute, willpower and them busting their butt to get that opportunity and be prepared for it. But I just wish that people would put more respect on the NBA guys' name and their game. So just because they're not playing that much on the NBA scale and they're not getting minutes, doesn't mean that these guys can't play. It just means that sometimes those players aren't enough on that level yet to be playing that much or that often. And then sometimes you get the veterans at the end of the bench who are not there for the skill, they're there for the leadership presence and the locker room presence that they have, which is a whole other conversation. But I need people to put more respect on the player's name and their game. Like, stop saying these guys are sorry, stop saying these guys are terrible, they can't play, when they would destroy you with no effort. Like, they would effortlessly destroy any average American citizen, even if they're in the gym. Like the average rec guy, the average LA fitness guy, like they're destroying that every day. So I just want people to put more respect on their games and understand that these guys are the elite of the elite, and these guys are the top of the top, the cream of the crop. So that's it for my mental moment, which is really more of a rant. But as long as you guys are understanding where I'm coming from with this and understand that these guys are great players. So just because you don't see them playing every night and you don't know their name doesn't mean these guys can't play. So that's it from me, man. Next month we'll get back to more of a, sports psychology standpoint, or just the perspective behind whatever topic I get into. But this week is something that kind of bothered me, man. Me and Nelson kind of talked about that, and it's something that bothered me. So this is more of a BeBall Jones rant rather than a BeBall Jones mental moment. So kind of went on for a minute, but that's it. Keep listening to the podcast, listening to the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps and supports the podcast a lot. Comment everything, let us know, man, because by you showing us support and love, lets us know what direction we need to go, and it shows us that you support us, because that makes sure that our efforts aren't being wasted behind it. So subscribe to the podcast, follow us, make sure you show us some love, and thank you for tuning in. That's it. See you next week.